Did you guys watch The Last of Us on HBO Max? I did, and I'm going to be doing reviews on this based on the premise of someone who has never played the game. Now, I am a gamer and I haven't had a chance to play, but I want to hear from the gamers on this and what they thought on how this lined up with the actual game versus episode 1. And did you enjoy this? Was the camera angles good? I never played it, but I know of the story, but I want to hear from you guys on what you thought. I'm going to be going based on someone who doesn't know the story at all, and I'm just going to kind of review it on whether or not I liked it or not. Now, of course, this stars Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, and of course, if you watch Game of Thrones, you already know who they are. And of course, Pedro Pascal, I mean, he's the Mandalorian, so we got fantastic cast, and honestly, everyone in this episode was amazing. The pacing was great, and I really enjoyed this. And one of the cool things is, like, right in the beginning, they kind of broke out, and there was like a game show that was going on, and not a game show, I'm sorry, a new sort of a talk show. I don't know why I thought a game show, but anyways, and they're talking about the virus, or actually more of a fungus, and how this affected its host. And this is back in 1968. And one of the interesting things, and if you're going to compare this kind of like to The Walking Dead, of course, you know I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. In The Walking Dead, the zombies there, they are basically dead, and they have very little life outside of the desire to eat. But in these, the zombie or the hosts are still alive, and they're still very much aware of what is going on, but they cannot stop it. Their ability to control this fungus that is kind of taken over their host it's very difficult, and that's going to be one of the big differences. Now, as far as to whether or not, like, the Walking Dead characters that we love, could they survive this? I don't know. What do you think, Rick? I don't know, but maybe Rick could survive, but of course we all love Rick Grimes. But I did really enjoy how they kind of broke it down. I loved how just how they showed the breakdown of society and how this apocalyptic world was starting to unfold. And we got his daughter, who is played by Nico Parker. Her name is Sarah, and she's in there, and beautifully played by her. Absolutely amazing. And then of course his brother Tommy, who are in this, and they show as everything kind of breaks down, and we know he's a Desert Storm vet, so that kind of gets into his skill set. Now, one of the cool things, as we're going through, before the breakdown of society, is she's going to visit one of her neighbors, and she's looking at some movies in there, like on a bookshelf. And did you happen to notice the old lady over there as she's kind of like breaking down? I believe these are probably symptoms of the virus before they turn crazy. But that was really interesting. Now she fixed his watch for his birthday, his daughter, which was really sentimental. I don't know much in the backstory of that watch, but I thought that was really cool. Now, as she's going through the city, you already see like the cops, the SWAT team going down the street. We see the fighter jets going above, and society is really breaking down. And it kind of reminds me of Fear the Walking Dead, season 1, when we see society really breaking down. I thought they did a very good job of how society would. And then eventually, she goes over to, her neighbor's house, that same old lady, and we see that she is, kind of eating on her family. But one of the weird things, like, unlike the Walking Dead zombies, they have like these like tentacles coming out of the mouth, which is really strange. Again, I didn't play the game, but I thought the special effects, seeing that was really cool. And some of the other cool things. Now, there was a scene where they're trying to escape. You got military everywhere, and this was kind of reminding me of The Walking Dead, a lot in the early on when, Shane helped Lori get away. You got the military basically attacking everything. There was a moment where there was a car that was broke down, and they're waving by, and that just reminded me of the guy with the backpack. Of course, if you're a Walking Dead fan, you already know where I'm going with that. And that was sort of a big moment for Rick Grimes in there. But a lot of chaos in the street. And in that scene where the airplane came and crashed, that was wild. Again, fantastic. And this is one of those episodes, I hope every episode is like this, where you just are glued to your TV, because I thought they did a fantastic job in this. Now, eventually, they're trying to escape, and we see, the military's coming after him, and there's a scene where Pedro Pascal, he's holding his daughter, and the military, they're basically giving orders to, shoot and kill everybody, and he goes to shoot him, and the military guy, you could tell he felt bad. He went to shoot. He eventually ended up killing his daughter, which absolutely heartbreaking scene. And from what I understand, this was just like the game. Again, I didn't see the game, but this is from what I understand, a big moment in the game. And I thought this scene was done very well. Nico Parker and Pedro Pascal really did the scene justice, where if you weren't emotional during the scene, you might want to check your pulse. 20 years later, we see, there's a time jump, and we notice there's, I believe that was Ellie. She's just kind of shambling through. Of course, that brings back memories of, the Teddy Bear Girl, season 1, episode 1 of The Walking Dead. But we have like a sort of a bunch of different tiers, and I apologize for how I'm holding this. Normally I just have a steady camera, but there's different levels of society now. They go to Boston, which is, I used to live there, and you got different factions. You got the military, who are basically controlling everybody, and they kind of give them rations, and they're not allowed to leave. If they leave the city, it's punishable by death. You got Pedro Pascal's character, who clearly has some sort of high status within there. He's buying pills from, or he's given pills to one of the military guys, which he mentions bullets and pills were coming from Atlanta. Of course, I mean, you already know what Atlanta means to The Walking Dead. But then, as they're starting to, we do eventually meet Ellie, and she is, she's considered cargo. They say, they got to bring her to this area, but we find out that his brother Tommy has been kind of pitted against him. We don't really know the details of that. I'm sure for those who play the game, you may know this, or maybe, I don't know, you guys tell me. But as they leave, there's a really kind of interesting scene, and you see where, they're outside of the wall, and the guard's getting ready to shoot him, and he's kind of having a flashback of when he lost his daughter. He wasn't able to protect her, and he's not going to let the same thing happen to Ellie. So he beats the hell out of this, this military guy, who was the same guy that he was selling pills to earlier. But yeah, one hell of an emotional scene there. And Ellie, if you look at the parallels when his daughter, Sarah, died versus when Ellie was sitting there watching, she seems to get kind of excited over this. And whereas, his daughter was crying when he had to kill, that old lady who was trying to attack him. But again, I thought the acting was beautiful. It was amazing. Pedro Pascal was perfect in this role. And also, Bella Ramsey, both from, Game of Thrones, did fantastic. Casting was amazing. And pacing was great. I'm loving the storyline, getting to know the characters, and I cannot wait for next. And I hope you guys stay till after the credits, because they did show some scenes of what is going to happen next. We saw kind of a behind-the-scenes making of this, which is really cool. But yeah, what did you guys think? For those of you who played the game, I want to hear from you guys as well. And how you thought this kind of, compared to the game. I never seen the game. I never played the game. I really enjoyed this, and this is something I'm definitely going to get into. I can't wait to, do more reviews for this, but absolutely loved it. Um, this looks like it's going to be another big thing for HBO. An interesting thing about HBO, The Walking Dead, from what I understand, was initially going to be on HBO, but HBO turned it down because it was too violent. And here we are with The Last of Us on HBO Max, of course, Game of Thrones. Like, I don't know, but what did you guys like it? I loved it. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and let's talk about this. Where do you think this series is going? Are we going to get a season 2? Is this going to be as maybe as big as The Walking Dead is? But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. And yeah, love you guys.